Hey guys, welcome to the weekly tarot forecast for the Numinous week beginning January the 27th. I'm Lindsay Mack, and the card that I've pulled for us this week is Knight of Cups reversed. Okay, so Knight of Cups reversed actually, if you're familiar with tarot, can sometimes have sort of a bad reputation. He often has the reputation of, well, if we take the Knight as a personification of a man, which I don't, but I'll just say this. If we're taking the Knight as a personification of a man, a lot of the time there's some kind of old school and even present day thoughts that Knight of Cups reversed is sort of a liar and kind of a manipulator, an emotional manipulator. And I would love, if that's the school of thought that you're coming from, you can hold on to that belief. That's totally fine. But I would love to invite anyone who kind of feels that way about this card to sort of release that for the moment, because I kind of think we're being drawn in a different direction with it. You can always go back to that belief after this video anytime you want. So, all right. Knight of Cups is air and water. So what happens when we mix air and water? Think about an air sign and a water sign. That's a lot of power, a lot of intensity. Thinking, emotion, a lot of water and a lot of air, arguably the two mutable areas. Air is always shifting, ever changing, water always shifting, ever changing. Powerful though, an ability to go up very, very high and down very, very low. So Knight of Cups really, if we break down and move away from the personification of this card as a person, we have an energy that is both sky and water. That is both mental and emotional. So what happens when we marry the two areas of mental state and emotion? We're usually in a very deep place, or in a place of very deep internal thinking in one way or another. So that's the first thing that I want to invite everyone into with this card this week, is that this is really a week to speak less and inquire more, to tune in more with your experience. So before there's any jumping to conclusions, or before getting triggered in any way, before getting triggered in any way, we can get to a place of kind of saying, okay, you know, I'm having some feelings, I'm not quite sure, so I'm going to take a moment and just drop into that. Self-inquiry before responding. That's the first thing. The second thing is, to me, Knight of Cups is so about walking in a way, because all the Knights are action-based. All the Knights are kind of like various movers through the world. So maybe we have a runner, maybe we have someone who has a sexy walk, and everywhere they go, you kind of look at them. We might say that's Knight of Wands. And Knight of Cups is really about walking with beauty. Like literally letting every step we take in the world be that that leaves behind a legacy of beauty and of care and of love and of kindness. When it's reversed, we may have gotten too deep into all work, no play. We might have gotten too deep into kind of a struggling mindset, a lack mindset. That's what I'm getting for us as a collective this week, to recenter and come back to a place of willingness to leave a legacy of beauty and of kindness wherever we go. And again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Frankly, I'm not getting that this week has anything to do with any kind of energy of selfishness or of manipulation at all. It really does have to do with how are we moving through the world, and can we choose to move through the world in a way that's beautiful? So it's a worthy question, you know. The other thing about Knight of Cups that I am receiving for us this week is that this is, to go back to kind of point one I was making about inquire, speak less, inquire more, speak less. This is also an energy to really, really practice meditation. I very rarely give direct recommendations in my Tarotscopes, but this is a week that I'm going to do that. an even deeper soul inquiry that I've always channeled about Knight of Cups is really that he is a meditator. There's mental and emotional. So how do we balance the mind? How do we balance emotion? How do we come to the center point, that like thin, beautiful thread of light that runs through all of us that just simply is? There's no story attached to it. There's no drama. There's no wavering it. There's no shattering it. There's no breaking it. How do we come to that place? We drop in very deeply in meditation. We just simply sit, we watch as our thoughts pass by over, or rather in front of our eyes like water. And we come to that center point of truth. This, I am getting, is crucial for us this week, because there's going to be some stuff there are going to be some invitations into story, into maybe a little bit of emotional identification, maybe a little bit of drama. It's kind of the opposite of what happened with us last week in Three of Swords. This one is really about, in Three of Swords reverse, we really got the invitation that, you know, we're breaking out of these cycles of drama. Now it's really about how do we keep ourselves in truth. So this is the how-to and the work beyond the kind of the origin point, which sort of began last week energetically. So yes, Knight of Cups reversed, an opportunity to really look deeply at where we're getting caught in mental identification, in emotional identification, and where we are moving through the world in a way that's out of alignment. That doesn't mean you're hurting people. That doesn't mean that you're hurting yourself. That also doesn't mean that there's someone in your life who's trying to screw you around. It just simply means that it's time to drop in. Get really clear on what's going on personally, so we can be more available, more conscious, more in our truth, to respond to anything, any aspect of life at all. I will say that in the days leading up after the election, I pulled this card all the time for us as a collective. Many of the readers that I know pulled this card. This is really, Knight of Cups, a card for the kind of new age, I think, for our new consciousness. This sort of, you know, how are we going to choose to walk through this new way of life where what we're speaking is more important than ever, how we use our voice is more important than ever, how we identify with our emotions and our mental state, how we identify with victimhood. There could not be more important work to do. There's also an invitation to make the work as graceful and as beautiful as possible, even if it feels ugly. That's all Knight of Cups. So I encourage you to just check in. If your mind is making assumptions, don't necessarily believe them. Just inquire and see what treasures lie at the bottom of that inquiry. I wish you a beautiful week. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.